As a painter myself, I marveled at Leonardo's expertise. Painting details, softness, and an incredible graceful expression are what I see as his hallmarks. Obviously, from 1470 to 1519, almost 50 years, he sublimely expressed his sensibility as a painter, despite the fact that he was also a military designer, an engineer, an anatomy student, an event designer, and a sculptor. Considering how few paintings he produced, it is so unusual he possessed such talent and capabilities. His soft edges are impressive, lacking obvious outlining compared to, say, Botticelli, whose outlining is quite obvious. He called this sfumato, or a smoky quality between objects in his painting. In his treatise on painting, reconstructed posthumously by his student and apprentice Francesco Melzi, Leonardo explains many of his tendencies in painting, proclaiming this sfumato, and certainly the correct definition of perspective, still, then a new phenomenon for painters. He also painted in oils, which had been most recently brought to Italy, and Leonardo experimented with numerous painting mediums and techniques, which makes us wonder if not more of his works failed to pass the test of time. Obviously, The Last Supper, painted in fresco, is an example of a failed technique. Now, the Salvator Mundi painting, which has so hypnotized the art market recently, it is an interesting painting, but I do have some reservations with how accurate an attribution to Leonardo it really is. One thing that is not done is that it's on walnut wood and not on linden wood, as Leonardo preferred. Another thing is how the glass orb in Christ's hand does not diffuse the fabric behind, as Leonardo was indeed a great student of light and how it is bent around something, as in this orb. Third, the right hand is posed like a priest's expression of heavenly grace, not something Leonardo shows anywhere else in his paintings. I have some reservations about this piece from a painter's point of observation. Is it by Leonardo, or is it by some other follower? Leda and the Swan is another mythological theme many artists have played around with. And Giorgio Vasari's copy of Leonardo's version, now lost, certainly embodies what I imagine Leonardo would have painted. Even the second copy by Vasari, or maybe somebody else, is very influenced by Leonardo's remaining sketch. I have seen numerous other renditions of this mythological story by other artists, and Leonardo's is clearly my favorite. The Adoration of the Magi is a stunning piece that I've seen. It was actually in London. However, it now resides back in the Uffizi in Firenze. It is an extremely complex piece showing at least 37 figures. He began the large piece using umbers, yellows, and some dark blackish colors, and slowly built up the characters. This is an excellent way to capture the light shading and to slowly define the characters. But why the horseman in the background? Why the two figures at the extreme right and left are finished a bit more, like those were given a second or third pass? Why the sets of 15 stairs leading to ruins, which has trees amazingly growing out of their tops? This piece holds a great deal of mystery for me, and it's interesting to see somebody actually did a version, finishing it up, but honestly, it's just not the same or as interesting to me as the Leonardo piece. Then there is this drawing showing another set of 2 15-stairways. It really seems like he was demonstrating his great understanding of single-point perspective here, rather than developing some narrative such as for the Adoration of the Magi. Why the camel? Why a cacophony of horses? Was there a finished painting of this well-developed sketch? And finally, there is the drawing of the Battle of Anghiari. What a beautiful dynamic piece. This was done in as a print, as a etching by Rubens off of the drawing from Leonardo. Rumors and some evidence suggest it was started, maybe finished, using an experimental fresco technique and abandoned. Later, Vasari built a wall over it and painted his Battle of Massiano in the Palazzo Vecchio. Historians have recently drilled small endoscopic holes into Vasari's piece and have indeed determined there is another wall behind it, and it contains similar pigments as Leonardo used in the Mona Lisa. The Anghiari sketch is superb. Perhaps someday they will manage to remove the Vasari wall intact and reveal at last how far Leonardo went on his masterpiece. I include some other paintings by Leonardo showing his incredible expertise. Some of his drawings are just unbelievable. And there are a lot of paintings that they don't really know for sure if it was by Leonardo or maybe one of his students or somebody after the fact. Nonetheless, most of this other work is similar. And considering the expertise that Leonardo demonstrated, both in drawing and in the handling of paint, I think these others merit certainly a great deal of attention. There are rumors of numerous other paintings by Leonardo that have never surfaced. There were even some talks that some of the Nazis, especially Hermann Goering, acquired 1 or 2 of them, and they vanished. And rumors have it they're somewhere in Russia, or maybe somewhere in a private collection in Germany. I'd love to see him. I'd love if anyone has any other information about him to at least tell me about him. I'm always very curious about Leonardo. In conclusion, as a painter, I celebrate Leonardo's paintings. Considering how few he produced, he demonstrates that quantity is never a replacement for quality. Of course, his many drawings of the human figure clearly demonstrate he understood design, what Vasari called drawing. I hope a few more of his masterpieces will eventually emerge as this artist is truly one of the best ever. This concludes this new Leonardo video. If you have any comments or questions, contact me. I'm interested always in answering them. I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to the video, and I'll continue to make some more of them. I am Preston McCall, and I thank you for watching.